And oh, big stretch. All right. And here we are for the second episode of Am I the A-Hole live reaction series. Just to clarify a couple of things straight away, all right? I do live stream these. These are, you can find these on my Twitch. I'm doing them live, so there's no edits, no cuts, no nothing. I just take this recording and then I post it on YouTube the way it is. So you will see me stumble on my words, smoke my cigarette, whatever it is. It's all live. That's why there are no edits. That's why it's just the way it is. This is the format that I'm doing. I'm going to be reading stories. I'm going to try to keep it around an hour. And it's mostly me just reading 10 posts, 10 interesting posts, if hopefully interesting, that Reddit presents to us. And this is it. So let's get straight into the action. Let's go on Reddit and let's see what we get today. All right. First story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to buy my wife a $5,000 bag? Okay, let's read. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to buy my wife a $5,000 bag? I, 37 male, have a wife, 37 female. Her birthday is in the first week of April, and I had asked her what gift she would like. Usually, I have no problem buying my wife stuff. We have a decent amount of money after expenses, amount of fun money after expenses. But this time, she showed me she wanted a handbag for almost $5,000. I asked her if she was being serious, and she was dead serious. We're not exactly rich, but we make close to like $500,000 together. I told her the bag was pretty expensive and asked her if she minded choosing something else. Hey Spy, welcome! She seemed kind of mad, but went on to choosing something else for like $2,500, $3,000, which I didn't mind doing. After she left the room though, she called me a cheapo and is giving me the cold shoulder. Even if I made like $1 billion a year, I think that $5,000 for a bag is just kind of ridiculous. But I do feel as if she may be right as well. So I'm asking the Reddit hive mind, am I the a-hole? All right. To me, this is a very simple case, okay? Again, this is about communication. It's not about whether you're an a-hole or not. You will find out that many of the posts that I react to, very rarely I say if somebody's an a-hole or not. I usually give a verdict the way it is, but the point is I want to get to the root cause of whatever issue is. Most problems nowadays, especially couple problems, relationship issues, are solved with proper communication. In this case, all right, it is nice. It is very nice. Actually, I think it's kind of crucial to pamper your partner once in a while. It is crucial to do that because yes, love is not based on material things, but a nice present, a nice gift can make your partner happy. So if you don't usually buy her expensive things, a once-off expensive thing is a nice gesture if you can afford it, of course. All right. So based on what your income is, based on how many times you buy things for your partner, buying her a $5,000 bag is not a bad idea. Okay. So first of all, you say you can afford it. So it's not a financial issue. And from the way you're writing, I'm thinking that you don't really buy her expensive things most of the time. I wouldn't say you're an a-hole, but I would say that you might want to show her a little bit of generosity once in a while. Okay, it's just a nice thing to do for your partner. So usually, if you can't afford it, of course, don't do any of these things. But in this case, you can't afford it. Don't put your don't sit there and think that it's expensive if it's a one-off thing. It would, if she's constantly asking for $5,000 bags, if she's constantly asking for Louis Vuitton, Prada, whatever, then yeah, it's a bit too much. But in this case, it would have been nice for you to do that gesture for your partner. Okay. Now, the crucial thing in these kind of situations is to have a partner that gives and gets. Okay. It's always about giving and receiving. So if you buy her the $5,000, is she giving you back things? Maybe not materialistic things. Maybe she's, the way to thank you for a $5,000 bag would be to prepare, like you go to work, you come back home and you find a massive, luscious meal with a hot bath, a bubble bath, and candles all over, nice music, maybe her lingerie. You never know, but she can pamper you for it. And that's kind of the nice thing about, giving and receiving with your partner. So, all right, I have to give a verdict because this is the whole point of it, right? So, yes, you are the a-hole in this case, but it's not like it's such a heavy thing. It's just more, think about how much you're pampering your partner, right? It's nice to do that once in a while. It is okay to do that. It doesn't make you a less of a man or a simp or whatever terms nowadays people are using. It doesn't. She's your wife. Okay, she's not just some random girlfriend. She's your wife. So treat her as such. It's okay. All right, on to the next one. Oh, I hadn't clicked on Am I the A-hole, but we still managed to get a nice one. We got lucky there. All right. Let's see. Am I the a-hole for proving to my boyfriend the nerds never cared about the popular kids in high school? I don't understand this one, but let's click and let's read it. Poo mode actor. I don't even know what that is. Am I the a-hole for proving to my boyfriend the nerds never cared about the popular kids in high school? My boyfriend and I, both 25, went to the same high school. My boyfriend was talking about our high school days. He thought high school me would have been thrilled to date the popular guy because I was a nerd. Mind you, we're 25 and it's 2024. I don't know what that has anything to do with that. I really don't like when people like bring up the era or the age. It's about psychology. It's about mentality. It has nothing to do with it. I played along for a bit until I realized he wasn't joking. He literally thought that. I told him that I didn't know he existed. He was surprised and said that he was a popular kid. He played football and was in the popular crowd. He said that I must have been lying. I told him that the nerds never cared about the popular kids in high school because we were fiercely competing amongst ourselves for college admissions. Fair? For a backstory on our own town, my boyfriend was born and raised there, but I only moved when I was 13 along with a bunch of other high-achieving kids. That's because an engineering company opened up a branch near that town and brought in a ton of engineers and their families. So it was a sleepy town with a big high school that suddenly got a ton of competitive kids. And I mean insanely competitive. Nobody had time to think about popular kids or really anything but college admissions. I was only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep that night, a night regularly. Sports like football or cheerleading, which required 5 days a week of training at school, were out of the question. And I saw the same people regularly because we are all in the same classes. So all of the drama was contained within that group of 50 to 100 students or so. I can't read apparently. It paid off for me. I got into a top college and had no student loans. It was literally cheaper than the state school. And despite my auto-generated username, I do have a good job that I enjoy. My boyfriend said I'm lying. I don't like being called a liar. So I literally reached out to all of my high school nerd friends, and yep, they didn't know the popular group and the ins and outs of the dynamics like my boyfriend thought. A few people recognized some names, but like I said, we were really focused on competing with each other. He got quiet when I proved my case. He said I humiliated him and I proved my point, and we should never mention high school again. I talked with his sister and she said that high school was a special experience for him and I ruined his memories. Am I the a-hole? Okay. Right. Let me start by saying something. This is a yes and a no case, and I'll elaborate, okay? You're not the a-hole for proving your point. You're not the a-hole for what you said. It is true that high school can be experienced in many different ways by people. And for example, for him, he might have not noticed you because he was with a popular clique. Same way for you, you didn't notice him because you were busy with other things. Now, some men are, not all men, but some men are very prideful. And that pride is based on an image that they have of themselves. So in his case, it's all on him this time. Yeah, but I'm gonna elaborate a bit better in case any of the viewers here have a situation similar to this, where you get into an argument with your partner. Speaking to women, also to men, but speaking mostly to women in this case. Men do have a fragile ego sometimes because they base it on an image of themselves. So when they're talking to you specifically, they want Marquise, nice to see you. So when they're talking to you, they usually are talking to the person they value their opinion the most, because you're the girlfriend, you're the fiance, you're the wife. They want to show off for you. They want to think that in your head, they are the best of the best. When that image doesn't coincide with what you're saying, it happens to me and my wife too. Sometimes when I think that I am some really strong masculine figure or whatever it is, and then she makes me feel a little bit less, it's fine. It's on me, right? Because I got a big head in that moment. But I do feel it too, right? And in this case, it's because you went and spoke to other people and demolished this idea that he has. The sister was right? The sister tried to explain it girl to girl on how the image was. She probably has more experience, I'm guessing, with other men. So she kind of figured out what the situation was, which is fine. But sometimes we just really want to feel like we are the best of the best for you. And when we don't feel that, again, it's just on us. It's not something, I'm just trying to give you a point of view of how men might think. When we don't feel like we're the best of the best for you, we start feeling like we need to be better than this, or our self respect kind of gets a little bit of a hit. It's okay. The best way to solve this kind of issue post factum is to talk to your boyfriend and explain that you don't think any less of him because of that. Make him understand that you were just tackling an issue, which men are very good at that. We really are good at railing back in the logic and be like, oh, she was just attacking a problem and not emotions, because if we do end up in the emotional side, we're a bit startled there. So just tell him that you were just tackling the issue and you were trying to prove a point, and make him understand that sometimes people have different points of views on memories that they have, right? So where I might be remembering something specific and my point of view on the matter is very different than yours, I settle in that point of view. I start thinking that this is a reality for everybody, which is not the case. Okay, I don't want to sit here and tell you, oh no, you're right, you're wrong, this is go girl and all of that. No, I'm trying to go beyond that. I'm trying to get to a point where, how do you solve this issue? How do you relate to this issue? How do you tackle a problem of this kind and get past it? Okay, because you don't want to be in a fight. You don't want to be in an argument with your boyfriend. You want this to go by and you want to be happy again. So this is how we would do it. Sit down, talk to him, explain that it is okay that this issue got solved and you didn't mean to humiliate him. You just wanted to get past the issue, and he still is your number one, your man. He just got his ego a bit bruised. It's okay. You're not the a-hole for that. Slightly the a-hole for talking to other people about it. When you're in a relationship, it's a circle. It's just you and your partner. Okay? Keep the arguments between you two. Don't spread it out. Don't talk to other people. Okay? Keep it between you two. Solve it. And then, hey, this also helps you understand, especially because you're just boyfriend, girlfriend. This helps you understand if your values differ. And if your values differ, it means in the long run, you won't be a good married couple. So this is a good insight on how your future will be, how your future arguments are going to be. So just try to get used to not talking to other people about an issue, but to solve it in there. Okay. So no, generally speaking, not the a-hole. You're 100% right. People have very different opinions on how high school played out for them. I remember mine. It didn't fit with other people's point of views. It's fine. It's okay. So yeah, not the a-hole. All right. On to the next one. This is random promotion. Okay. Let's see this one. Am I the a-hole for not letting someone sit on one of the seats of my empty plane row for long flight? Update. Guy moved my jacket and neck pillow from aisle seat when I went to the bathroom. Okay. This must have been a live thing. So for now, let's read. I, 27 male, was solo traveling to Europe a few weeks ago, 10-hour flight. And after boarding the plane, I found myself extremely happy as I had nobody sitting in my row at all. I was extremely excited about it. This only happened to about 5 rows on that flight, like me. They all laid down across the 3 seats. After about an hour, I go to the bathroom and come back to a surprise. Someone from the row next to me decided to sit on the aisle seat. I come back, he lets me through, and then I sit for 5 minutes wanting to sleep. I couldn't contain myself and told the guy to please move back to his seat as I was going to lay down. He starts saying that I can't have 2 and he can have 1 as he needed his empty seat for his kids' toys. Told him that I'm sorry that it is not his seat and he moved back. Eventually, he did the same to someone else from 2 rows back and left his wife with a crying babe alone. If he would have asked nicely, I'd say yes, but because of the way he just sat down when I went to the bathroom, made it very uncomfortable. So I had a beautiful, comfortable 10-hour flight and don't regret it one bit. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, you're the a-hole. 100%. Okay. So first of all, I can tell that this was a lie. If he would have asked nicely, I'd say yes. But because of the way he just sat down when I went to the bathroom, made it very uncomfortable. This is a lie. You would have not said yes to this at all. Because kindness just doesn't come post factum. It doesn't come out of the question. You wouldn't even have cared. But you cared about it because you felt so entitled that you thought that all 3 seats now belonged to you because there was an empty seat, knowing full well it doesn't. All right, this comes from entitlement. So already everything else you said, because of this lie, because of what you're trying to type here, I can easily say that you're an a-hole. All right, so this comes down to the whole, I've actually spoken to people before about this, and it comes to being a civilized person in public spaces. When you have an empty seat next to you, this does not belong to you. Okay, you don't have the right to put your stuff on it. You don't have the right to put your feet on the empty seat in front of you. These are not your rights. Okay, that seat does not belong to you. You paid for a seat, you sit in your seat. There are compartments and places for you to place your items. And I know you want to get comfortable. I understand that. But there's a difference between thinking that, oh, I'll put my bag on the seat next to me because it's empty, and oh, this seat belongs to me because it's empty. All right, it's the entitlement part. So if you put your bag next to you and somebody comes over, you immediately remove your bag. That was fine. Okay, all you did was use an empty space, you filled it up, it's fine. And then when you notice, oh, space is needed, it's not mine anymore, you just remove the bag and it's all good. Now, I understand some people also might do that because they feel anxious, all right, with social interactions. So they put a bag next to them to say, I don't want anybody sitting next to me. Still, again, even though I understand where you're coming from, this doesn't make you, this doesn't give you the right to think that the place is yours. That's entitlement. All right. If anything, communicating to the person that's coming is like, hey, I'm sorry, I just feel anxious. I'd rather not have anybody sit next to me if it's okay with you. And then if that person is polite enough and civil, which most people tend to be, by the way, if you formulate your sentences in a polite manner, they will reply in a polite manner. If they don't, they're a-holes, but usually they do reply in a polite manner. And so when you tell somebody that, they'll be okay with it, and that is fine. That is just the way. It's about being polite and respectful to people, thus and behaving in a way that you would want people to behave with you. Okay, so here in this case, I don't even need to read that much into lines. That sentence specifically tells me that this person is lying and he's entitled. So yeah, absolutely a-hole. All right, on to the next one. Okay. Am I the a-hole for not financially? I'm not gonna judge anybody. I mean, I can't read apparently, and I keep stumbling on my words, so it's fine. For not financially supporting my family anymore and abandoning them in their time of need. Okay, this title might be a bit misleading or rage bait, but let's read the thing. Some context. I'm a 31 male with a 25-year-old sister who lives at home. My parents are in their 60s. My mom and sister have never worked a real job other than under-the-table things like babysitting. My dad was the only earner in the family. They were making it, but until about 10 years ago when money... They were making it, but until about 10 years ago when money started to get tight. My parents' house went into foreclosure, and mom still did not get a job. I gave them money to try to help. They lost the house anyway. Again, no job was secured by my mom. This was 10 years ago. Fast forward to today. The house they live in now is in foreclosure again, and no one seems to have a sense of urgency to seek employment. Turns out money was tight these last 10 years because my dad was a functioning opioid addict. Ow. He really started to spiral the last 6 months. And that's a heavy thing. All right, having a drug addiction in the family can be a very heavy thing. He really started to spiral the last 6 months and is now in prison for the next 2 years. Oof. I have always been the person in my family to pick up the pieces and be the one everyone turns to. Since my dad has been in jail, I have not talked to him. I have also stopped talking to my mom and sister because they have not paid me for bills I have in my name that they're responsible for. But yet they send my dad in jail. They send my dad in jail money. I gave them months of encouragement to try to find a job and kept paying the bills while they tried to figure it out. Sorry about that. When I have asked for the money recently, since months have gone by with no employment secured, my mom straight up ignored my calls and texts. I'm done. They tell me I'm an a-hole for leaving them in their time of need, and they have been trying to find jobs all the time, but it's hard to get one. I call BS. I'm tired of being the fixer. I'm tired of being an enabler. Am I the a-hole for not paying for them anymore and for not being in their life? Okay. Right. So this is a very heavy thing. All right. I'm going to give the verdict straight away. No, you're not the a-hole. Okay. This is a very heavy burden to have on your shoulder. So I'm not going to call you an a-hole because you just want some freedom from the weight. Just sitting up from the weight that's been put on you. You don't abandon family. That is a fact. But at the same time, it feels like your family has abandoned you. And this is very much a killer thing. First of all, I would not abandon your father, as dealing with drugs is, as many people I'm sure already know, is a massive issue. Okay, there's a difference between somebody that has his life under control and somebody that has that kind of addiction. And he is in jail. Obviously, for every action, there's an opposing and equal reaction. So it's consequences for his own actions. Not talking about that. That is obviously a very normal thing. But first of all, I would not abandon your father. He needs help. He's in his 60s now. I would not really abandon your mother and sister, but I would reduce the amount with which I help them in. So I'm already guessing. There's not much I can say here because the person that wrote this, I'm thinking he already sat them down, spoke to them, tried to communicate his point, and nothing is coming along. Nothing is going through. I can't really tell him, hey, sit down, talk to them. All I can say is, let's say you're giving them $500 a month or something. Try to give them $250. Just reduce whatever you're helping them with. Don't stop helping them. They're still family, especially your father who genuinely needs help. It's an addiction. He can't get through it by himself. He needs help to work to get through it. It's not easy. And don't turn your back on your dad in jail. Like, I'm not saying go visit him every day, but speak to him a little bit. Try to see him. He's still your father, and he's in his 60s. He's not a young man anymore, and he always did work. But addiction is a bitch, man. You can't really just. So no, not the a-hole for wanting to stop being the fixer or the enabler. That's actually a very good word he used there, enabler. That is true. But I would just, hopefully they will manage to get through it themselves because they need the help. Maybe I don't know how it works. Every country is different, right? But maybe you can speak to social assistants. I don't know. Like in Italy here, we say assistente sociale, which is somebody that is from the government that is willing to help you or your family in moments of need by guiding you through the systems of the government to try and get a job, or a psychologist, psychiatrist, all of these kind of things, maybe a home. I don't know how it is in your country, but I would try to find that kind of help for your family, and hopefully that will get them somewhere. But no, definitely not the a-hole. I'm sorry for this guy, actually. All right. On to the next one. Oh, this is the first one we did. Okay, that's good. All right, next one. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to switch schools for my brother? Okay. So I, 16 female, live in Hong Kong, where getting into a secondary school is extremely competitive. I have a brother, 12 male, who's about to graduate primary school and go to a secondary school. I've always been the more academic child. Academic? Yeah, I was an academic child. Sorry about that. While my brother is always playing basketball with his friends. I am always in my room studying and reading. When I was about to graduate primary school, I was accepted into one of the most prestigious and best schools in my district, and I'm currently going there with great academic success in my opinion. I am now in Form 5. I don't know what Form 5 is, so I'm guessing maybe class or level or something, and have already picked out a major for university. Damn, not bad. But my brother has always been sort of a slack. He has a firm belief that as long as he is an athletic person. Yeah, this was on me. I'm not doubting a person that seems to be like very smart, much smarter than me in academic at least. 5, and has already picked out a major for university, but my brother has always been sort of a slack. He has a firm belief that as long as he is an athletic person, which isn't how it works. Oh, okay. No, I'm not wrong. This sentence made no. He has a firm belief that as long as he is an athletic person, which isn't how it works. A firm belief in what? So imagine our parents' surprise when he got rejected from all of his aided schools and DSS schools. He had to beg his way into a band 2C school where, although this is very much cultural differences that I don't understand. I'm gonna try to figure out what's happening here. He had to beg his way into a band 2C school where, although it very much fits his academic achievement, Jesus Christ, in my opinion, he still feels salty about, as I was the one who got into one of the best schools in our district. Meanwhile, his school's banding is nowhere near mine. So yesterday morning, into one of the best schools. So yesterday morning, before school, my parents asked me to change secondary schools because they didn't want my brother to feel quote unquote, disturbed by my success and demanded me to switch. And in Hong Kong, we have this big exam called DSE, which is basically an exam that determines our future. And even if I do score 5 stars in all my DSE's highest mark, at the school my brother is attending, I still won't be as impactful as getting 3 stars passing grade at my current school. Okay, so yeah, it's a very advanced school, it seems. So therefore, I politely declined, explaining that my future really depends on the DSE exam, and going to another and worser school would greatly impact my future in a bad way. But then my parents snapped at me, calling me selfish and every insult you can think of. Last night, I stayed at my grandma's house, but the damage has already been done. I had calls from family members from both of my parents' side calling me inconsiderate for my actions. Right now, my grandma is the only one who supports my actions. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to switch schools to accommodate my brother? No. Instant verdict, no, you're not the a-hole for this. You should be thinking about your own future. If anything, I don't understand what your parents are doing. Right, so I can't speak too much on this, as I'm guessing Chinese culture is something that I have not experienced, all right? I have Chinese friends, I had a Chinese ex-girlfriend, but that doesn't put me in a position where I can say I know much about Chinese culture or mentality in any way. So the few things that I know is that academic studying in general is a very crucial thing, as it, especially for men, as it allows you to have a to open the doors in a much easier fashion in China. I don't know much more about that, so I can't really comment on the rest of the things. All I can comment about here is I really don't understand what your parents are thinking of by forcing you in a. It would have been nice to have somebody. Hey, maybe if anybody of the viewers is Chinese or has knowledge about Chinese culture, if you'd be happy to write in the comments, maybe explaining some of this. This would be really nice. I would be very interested in knowing this. I don't understand. Is it maybe because there's a discrepancy between men and women in China, as in like the education of men is much more important than that of women? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just sitting here and thinking, why would the parents even think about downgrading the education of their daughter, who seems to be much more intelligent book-wise than her brother? I personally would never do that. I just let them stay on their own path, and as long as your brother wants to be an athlete, let him be an athlete, and then when he figures out something different, he can figure out his own path. Yeah, definitely not the a-hole. The girl should be pursuing her own future in her own way with her own strength, and the parents should be endorsing that. They should be enabling and endorsing that rather than downgrading the school. I don't know if maybe the parents have another reason behind it that she is not stating here, that I don't have enough information about this. So there's lots of context lacking in the post, but there's also lots of information that I don't have as a person to be able to genuinely speak properly on this matter. All I can say for now, based on the context here, is no, not the a-hole. So let's hop to the next one. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband he overreacted at our daughter's birthday? Let's look at that. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband he overreacted at our daughter's birthday? My husband and I have a daughter together. He has a son, 8 years old, from a previous relationship, and I have a daughter, 5 years old. At my daughter's party, my mom was taking some pictures of all 3 kids together. And wait, so how old is the other daughter? Well, maybe it states in the thing. All 3 kids together, and then she said she wanted to get one of just the girls. My husband was annoyed. She didn't ask for one of just my stepson and the birthday girl after. I suggested it to my mom after my husband came to me, but my husband was already annoyed at that point, even though she did then take their picture. He was being snippy with my mom all day. I confronted him after the party and told him he overreacted. He did not. He said stepson would feel excluded and unloved. I felt like my mom did include him by taking the picture of all 3 kids. My mom lives hours away and my stepson is very shy, so she honestly doesn't know him that well. He did not overreact. You're absolutely the a-hole in this case. Okay, I've seen this in many posts, all right? It's insane how step parents always have some form of bias. You need to stop that. If you're not willing to adopt the other child as your own to the same level and love and care of the other of your own, don't get into a relationship. This is exhausting to watch. The amount of times I have spoken on this matter with people is exhausting, okay? Single parent meets single parent, and then the parents do not understand how important it is to love the other child as if it was their own. It is insanely exhausting. You're absolutely the a-hole. Your mother is an absolute a-hole, and the dad did not overreact at all. Reverse the situation. It's as simple as that. So the father of your husband comes over. He says he only wants a picture of his grandson and your daughter, excluding your 5-year-old daughter. It would be the exact same for you. You would feel the exact same. You would think, why is my daughter being excluded? And no, just the pictures of all 3 of them doesn't mean that the son got included. This doesn't make sense. You're absolutely the a-hole. Absolutely the a-hole. And the bias came out so quick in this. Also, honestly, doesn't know him that well. It doesn't matter. You're his mom. You're the person that's supposed to be pushing your own mother, so the grandmother, to know your son. He's your son. He's not just your stepson. There's no such thing as stepson anymore, guys. When you unite, it's father, mother, and children. It's not stepchildren. Now, this is a subject that really pisses me the fuck off, honestly. Like, guys, this is not a joke. It is not a joke. Making a family, just because you're single parents and then you unite with another person doesn't mean that it's different. It doesn't. It's the same exact thing. Stop getting married to people unless you're willing to 100% concentrate on making a family together, as it should be. Not step family, a real family. This is insane. Yeah, you're an a-hole. Your mother's an a-hole. I'm just gonna move to the next one. Oh, fuck, that pisses me off. Absolutely pisses me off. Am I the a-hole because I don't want either of my future son-in-laws to be a bridesmaid? Sister-in-laws, I'm guessing. All right. Am I the a-hole because I don't want either of my future sister-in-laws to be a bridesmaid? My fiance, male 27, Rob, and I, female 26, have been together for nearly 8 years. Engaged for a little over a year. We've been living with each other now since 2021. Around this time, I guess when it became apparent that we were serious, an animosity between his parents and one of his sisters started to develop. We've had some up and downs, usually starting a down period when I say or do something they don't like or agree with, such as having a boundary. What? I could list every infraction over the last few years and end up with an encyclopedia level of volumes where 99.99% of those would make you laugh or cry. Then these down periods have usually ended with me making a compromise, which more or less have me having to make a 180 to keep the peace. This does not bode well. Now, none of these boundaries are unreasonable. Asking that they not turn up at our house unannounced and uninvited, fair, is one of them. To only invite us to dinner over the week, well, uninvited, I don't know about, unannounced for sure, but uninvited, I mean, to only invite us to dinner over the weekend. We work average 12-hour shifts weekdays. Okay. Just to name a couple. However, these two in particular cause the most grief because it means that I don't like them, apparently. What? Come to planning our wedding. We're having a small ceremony, maxing out at 50 guests. We agreed we only wanted a small wedding party, 2 bridesmaids, 2 groomsmen. No page boys, flower girls, etc. I chose my only sister as my maid. Hey Nico, nice to see you, buddy. I really need to figure out how to read abbreviations better. I chose my only sister as my maid of honor and a close friend as my bridesmaid. We sent out the save the dates. Rob handed his personally to his family. No sooner had he done that, had his mother, Jan, gotten in his face and demanded to know why neither of his sisters were in the bridal party. Rob mentioned that we were originally going to elope, but felt that it excluded family, so we opted for a small wedding. Jan then stated that she would prefer us to elope, then said that I should remove my close friends as the bridesmaid and have one of his sisters. Originally, he had no problem with not having his sisters as bridesmaids. Now he's seeming to have changed his mind, he says. But I think that Jan getting in his face has caused some emotional conflict in his mind, and he just wants to keep her happy. Because of my having to relent usually, I don't want to change our arrangements and want this aspect to remain solely my choice, as I have never asked him to include one of my brothers as his groomsman, as it's his choice who he has. Okay, this changes things. But now it's caused this whole argument where I'm being called a bitch and spiteful because I don't want to relent. I've always been told that the wedding is about the couple. It is, and it's not the responsibility to keep everyone happy with their choices. Given their history, I can't trust that they'll get their ways this one time and not demand more changes the closer we get to the date. I don't think I am being unreasonable, but am I? No, you're not. Now, and Friday night, you're watching the live stream at Friday Night SmackDown, Nico. Nice. Can't wait till you become a professional wrestler, by the way. All right, so the reason why she's not being unreasonable, if anything, this family needs to get off her back, is for this specific thing. Originally, he had no problem. He had no problem with not having his sisters as bridesmaids, and where is it? There it is, here. As I have never asked him to include one of my brothers as his groomsman, as it's his choice who he has. Okay? So she's being very fair. The way this went down is she picks her maids of honor, her bridesmaids, and he picks the groomsmen. This is a very reasonable, very fair thing. Now, this husband needs to grow a pair, honestly. Like, I don't know why you would let your mother make you change your opinion on the wedding there, because you have the groomsmen and she has the bridesmaids. You just keep it fair. It's 50-50. Besides, why are you even intruding on your wife's point of view? Like, this is her day too, my guy. This makes no sense. It's her day too. Make your wife happy. She's your wife, not your mother. Your mother is your mother. Leave her be. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take in consideration what your family says, but on this specific day, on your wedding day, this is for you too. It's just you and your wife. Your parents' opinion doesn't matter. You do what your wife says and you do what you want. It's just you two. No, absolutely not being reasonable. You're not the a-hole in this case. Your husband is being an a-hole, and absolutely your mother-in-law is being an a-hole. No doubt. Guys, all right. I've spoken about this before. I'm going to say it again. When you have an issue regarding you and your wife, stop talking to your parents about it. Unless it's some form of abuse. Okay, let's clarify that. Unless it's some form of abuse, do not talk to your parents about it. This is something that has to be solved in the couple, not outside, in the couple. So if your wife says that you get to pick the groomsman and she gets to pick the bridesmaid, this is a fair thing. You cannot go and talk to your mother about it, or just get her opinion and then switch. Don't do that crap. All right, just don't do that crap at all. Keep it in the family. Keep it in the couple. Keep it in the family. Keep it in the couple. Discuss with your partner things. Communicate better. And above all, stop allowing your parents to put pressure on your relationship. It is not theirs, it is yours. They don't know the ins and outs of your partner the way you do. Okay, yes, a mother can understand a woman better than you can, but her opinion on your partner is not the same. Okay, she doesn't know the weaknesses of your partner, the strength of your partner, how your partner thinks, how she behaves in moments of stress and pressure. These are all things you know. And what really matters on the wedding day, is it that your mother is happy or that your partner is happy? What are you doing? No, focus on the couple. Keep it in the couple and focus on the couple. This goes for women too, by the way. It's not me just talking to the men. It also goes for women. Focus on your husband. How do you make him happy? How do you ensure that he is not, how do you ensure that your family is not putting pressure on him because they don't know him the way you do? They just don't. So yeah, back to the post. Not the a-hole, and your husband needs to grow a pair. Oy. Next one. Am I the a-hole for not wanting... How many did we do? Let's quickly see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're at 7. 3 more. We can get 3 more in. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my sister to live with me if she's not my maid? What? That's what my mother said I said. Not fluent. Okay, fair. I, 30 male, live with my best friend, Mike, 27 male, and I pay all of our bills. An important context. Mike is gay, and he was exposed by a cousin to the family while finishing college, and his parents simply stopped helping and disowning him. Ugh. He went into a deep depression where he had to stop working and take a break from college because he was so effed up. He helped me with what he had saved, and when everything was done, he said he would leave because he couldn't help anymore. And at the time, I was already working and had a good salary. I told him to relax and just clean the bathroom, which I was responsible for, that I managed the bills. That's sweet. And since then, we've had this agreement for 3 years. Mike has developed health problems that make it difficult for him to get a job. During this time, he, of his own free will, started taking care of the house and making our food. saying it was a way of giving back for everything I do. He even jokes that he's a stay-at-home friend and I don't mind paying for everything. That's actually nice. The problem is, my mother doesn't have such a good financial situation, and when my sister was accepted to college in my city, she called me with my sister telling me the news and asked if she could live with me and that she wouldn't be able to help much with the bills, so she asked for help. I responded saying that there is no space at home because I live with my friend. She asked if I could help with the bills when she lives in my city, and I replied that I couldn't, as I already have my responsibilities and could commit to helping with that too, and could not commit to helping with that too. She ended up realizing that he was still my friend, who she knew I helped pay the bills, and asked if I still support Mike, and I said yes, but he helped me with many other things. She exploded, saying that I wanted to support a 27-year-old dude, but to help my sister who needs help to go to college, I didn't want to. Okay. I asked, joking to my sister, if she would agree to take care of the house, make our food, and help me with other things in exchange for having everything paid from by me, and she replied that she was not my maid. And I responded by saying that then I prefer Mike, and even if she said yes, I wouldn't change my mind because 27-year-old dude is my best friend and helpful. I hung up before I heard any more shit, and since then, I've been bombarded with messages from them saying that my sister wouldn't have time to be my maid because she's studying and that it was unfair to ask her to do the same as someone who doesn't do anything all day, like Mike. They even questioned my sexuality. Oh my lord. I have so much to say. They even questioned my sexuality, saying that our relationship was too gay. I'm straight. Oh, I'm ace. I'm sorry. Ace is asexual, I'm guessing. I'm not really sure on this one. Don't quote me on this one. That's what I am assuming. No, I'm not super close with them. Am I the a-hole? By the way, Mike is getting a graduate degree and looking forward a new job. Oh, looking forward to a new job, and maybe he can retire already, but he's trying to get a job. Okay, I did not understand the last sentence. So let's start here. Wow. Just wow. Okay, first of all, absolutely not the a-hole. Kick your sister to the curb in this one. I'm sorry, but it just makes no sense to me. Like, I'm all about family, you know? I'm all about keep your family safe, keep your family helpful and stuff like that. But not only are they being homophobic, which I do not appreciate at all. Not only are they being homophobic, they're being absolutely entitled dicks about this. So your sister can't get a job by herself, all right? There's a lot of people that go to school and also work, all right? There's many people that do that. You're not somebody special. You don't get to be privileged if you cannot afford it, okay? You just don't do that. Get a job and study. If you can't do it, don't move. I'm sorry, but first of all, I really appreciate this guy. He's really sweet. The fact that he is helping out his friend, his best friend, right? Because his family, the family of Mike, is homophobic and pieces of shit. Allow me to say this. Piece of shit for disowning him. And I might have to take a step back on this one real quick. I do think they're a-holes for disowning him. I really do. But at the same time, it can be really painful for a family that is not okay with a gauge. This is a person has the right to not want to deal with certain things in his life, but as a parent, disowning your own child for something that they are, it irks me. It really irks me. I don't understand. Like, I can understand maybe wanting to limit contact because you're not okay with that. Nobody here wants to force another person to like them. All right, that's your prerogative, not mine. If you like me for who I am or you don't. I'm bisexual, by the way. I'm married, so with a woman, Hannah. But I'm bisexual, so I also had to deal with these kind of situations, and I never forced anybody to like me for who I am. I am who I am. Period. That's it. This is just what I am. I don't care. So forcing somebody to like you because you are gay is wrong. All right, that is not your prerogative. You are who you are. If they like you, good. If they don't, good. That's fine. You just walk away. Now, if you're a parent, though, disowning your own child for something they are is very, very crappy. It's very crappy of you. Yes, you might not want to spend a lot of time with them. Maybe you want to cut contacts with them, and that is okay. That is your prerogative. But disowning them, right, or forgetting that they're your child, you need therapy. You need therapy. You need help. All right, that's horrible. That's disgusting. I really like the guy that posted this for being such a good and loyal friend, for helping out his best friend, providing a safe house for him, you know, from which to. I also really like that Mike called himself a stay-at-home friend. I mean, it's cute, you know. He is not capable of working, which is okay because he's sick, but he is not being a leech. He is being hey, spy. He's not being a leech. He's being, you know, he's taking care of the household while you're away. He's basically like a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home friend. And it's really nice. I appreciate that. That's a very nice thing to actually see. Regarding the sister and the mother, absolute a-holes, homophobic. I've actually heard very similar phrases towards me based on my best friend, who is, I'm pretty sure that guy is homophobic, to be honest with you. One of my best friends is like, no, I'm obviously kidding, but like he's straight as an arrow, and he's all about women and all of that stuff, you know, one of those guys. He's just a good person. He's a good person. But yeah, I've heard these kind of sentences addressed to me before, where speaking of my sexuality as if it mattered or anything, because he slept at my house or I slept at his house, or we spent a lot of time together. Well, this is just what best friends do. You know, this is what bros do. It doesn't make you gay. It just makes you bros. It has nothing to do with your sexual appetite. Let's call it that way. No. Honestly, I can't say anything. Like, this guy handled it correctly, but no, you're not the a-hole, man. And just kick your sister and your mom to the curb in this one, because they can go fuck themselves, honestly. They could get fucked. This is just shit behavior from all the parents. Like, all the parents in this story, and the sister. Sister needs to go get a job. Like, girl, go get yourself a job. If you want to move cities, you want to go work there, go get yourself a job. Honestly, what are you doing? All right, next one. Okay. Gonna make this one the last one, I think. Am I the a-hole for not paying for the things that my toddler destroyed? Sorry in advance for the mistakes I'll make, as English is my second language. Don't worry, sweetheart. English is my second language and I can't read. I keep stumbling on my words. It's great. Sorry in advance. Okay, yeah, see? Example. I, 36 female, have a 2.5 years old son. Okay. I, 36 female, have a 2.5, 3 years old son. He is energetic and curious, like every child's supposed to be. Meltdowns are age appropriate, but he usually doesn't do that unless he misses sleep, gets sick, or something like that. I make sure to let him release his energy in playgrounds, etc. every day so he wouldn't climb furniture. Lol. Yes, it's a dog, basically. Okay. Our parenting style is similar to that British show called Super Nanny. By that, I mean, for example, if you don't eat your vegetables, you won't get any dessert. No matter how much you cry, won't change that. or 1930 is the sleep time. I think for Americans, okay, for Americans 1930 is 7:30 p.m. is the sleep style after our nighttime routine. I apologize for that. Unless there is an extreme case, 99% of time he will be in his bed, trying not to be in bed to have more fun. We do a little dance where he comes back to me and I put him in his bed again and again. Rules are the rules. True. My mother-in-law, 58 female, lives far away from us and invited us to her home so she can see her grandson face to face instead of everyday FaceTiming. Her home is filled with knickknacks, etc. I mean, it is not ideal to have my toddler live in there for a week, but with our parenting style, if we say no, it means no. So we thought it would be manageable with my 24/7 supervision. What we didn't calculate with my mother-in-law's character, she is not a recovering people pleaser. Oh, she is not a recovering people pleaser. She is a proud people pleaser. She thinks she is like Mother Teresa, but it is actually one of my husband's traumas that he had to act extra aggressive to people to protect his mother from the people using her. Ooh. She started giving my son chocolate cake behind my back because he refused eating his proper meal, and I was like, he will eat when he is hungry. Apparently, that's just grandparents for you, my guy. Apparently, she couldn't imagine a toddler being left hungry by his mother. And since he is refusing the meal, he has to eat something, right? Whenever my son has meltdowns for the things that I wouldn't let him do, she saves him from his despot mom and does the thing with him because she couldn't bear watching him cry like it is the end of the world. Thanks to her week-long actions, now my son thinks my mother-in-law overrides my rules. If he cries enough, he can get what he wants. So now he doesn't stop crying for a long time, since eventually his angel of a grandma will save him. Oh no. Today I woke up with the flu, and my mother-in-law volunteered to babysit him. After a few hours, she came to my room asking for me to pay for her kitchen cabinets. Apparently he was banging a ladle on the cabinet doors and made a lot of dents on the pane. I was like, where were you when it happened? She was right there. She wouldn't have left him alone, of course. Why didn't you take the ladle from his hands? Well, he didn't let her. After the meaningless back and forth with similar questions, and I already had a headache from my sinus, I just went back to sleep saying, no, I won't pay, and it seems like you need to discipline your grandson and be the bad guy for the first time. Now she is crying in her room, so am I the a-hole? Okay, right. So for it's kind of the grandparents' job to be the opposite of what you are as a parent and pamper the living hell out of your kids. And funnily enough, I've seen actually the opposite happen when if you are a parent that pampers your children a lot, your grandparents are going to try to discipline them. It is really weird, okay? But it basically goes this way. If your parents discipline you strictly, they're going to be very sweet and spoil your kids. Whereas if your parents spoiled you, they're going to be very strict and discipline your kids. I don't know why this happens. I have no idea why this happens. I don't understand the psychology behind it, but it seems to be it seems to be almost factual at this point. Like obviously we'd have to do a general study on the matter, but it seems to be very factual. And it's hard for a grandparent to not pamper the grandchildren. You're doing well with the way you're being a disciplinarian in the house. It is true. This is actually one of the best ways to discipline your kids and make sure they grow up understanding the value of people, relations, time, money, school, education in general. Everything has to be taught to kids to be of if you want this, you have to do this. That way, they don't grow up entitled. They understand that they have to earn their way. And even if you have money, even if you're filthy rich, the best way to teach your kid to earn things in life is with this method. So let's say you're very rich, you have no issues with buying the new phone that they want. If you just buy the phone, they will not understand the value of it. But if you tell them, if you want this phone, I require you to bring me, I don't know how grading works in other countries properly, but if you tell them, hey, for this phone, I require you to bring me 3 A+. I don't know if that's a thing for you, but like here in Italy, we grade out of 10, for example, out of 30 or out of 100, depending. So I would have been asked, if you want something, I need you to bring me 8 out of 10, which is the highest grade you can usually get. It's very rare to get a 10 out of 10 because just teachers don't usually give 10s. Very rarely teachers would give a 10 for some reason, but the highest grade would be an 8. So you would have to get me 3 8s. And if I don't get them, I don't get whatever I'm asking for. As simple as that. That is the trade. This is how it works. Okay, you put in the effort, you get those grades, and thus you get rewarded for that. All right. This obviously does not include special occasions as a kid's birthday or something like that, where it is fine to pamper your kids on a very special occasion. I mean, they're still kids, you still want to make them feel happy. So the way the mother here is disciplining her son is fantastic. Nothing to say about that. It's true, he will eat when he is hungry. This is a very good way to teach your kids to not be picky eaters. I just love the comedy in this post. It's actually really funny. She's a proud people pleaser. She thinks she's like Mother Teresa. Yeah, your husband's traumas also. Regarding whether you have to pay or not for the kitchen, how about paying for half? All right, sit your grandmother down, talk to her, explain the situation. Obviously, this is fine. Even if she doesn't understand, she's still the grandmother. It's not gonna happen that many times. It's okay to let your kid, see your grandma as, oh, the spoiling grandma and stuff like that. It's a nice memory to have. I miss my grandparents too. And my grandmother was spoiled me, pampered me, but she was strict too. She was a very balanced person. Same with my mother, actually. I got lucky. Let's just put it that way. I got really lucky, thank God. I would say, you know what, just pay for half of it. Let it be a lesson to her in the way where I'm going to pay for half of this just so you can remember that there are times where you have to be more of a disciplinarian and not just not paying all of it seems to be a bit of an a-hole thing to do. Because, he still did the damage, and it's okay that he's a kid, but she's just trying to be a grandma. She's just giving your kid some extra love. I don't see an a-hole here. Okay, I don't really see an a-hole here. I see a chance to compromise, a chance to learn, and it's also a chance to teach your kids something, by the way. In the future, it's always nice to teach your children. Sometimes you don't want to take all the fights. Sometimes you want to compromise because the happiness of both parties can be achieved with a little compromise. Okay? And being stubborn about something all the time is not a healthy way of living life. So yeah, no a-hole here. It's a cute story. Just pay for half of it. All right, and on that note, I am going to conclude the Am I the A-hole live reactions right here. I'm going to stop the recording. I thank you very much for tuning in to this episode. Hopefully I'll see you on the next episode. And if you missed the first episode, the link is going to be in the description of the video. Please comment. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. If you want to follow, go ahead. It's up to you. I would really appreciate more. Since I'm just starting, I would really appreciate some comments, whether on some feedback on my videos. If you prefer louder music, or if you prefer some other kind of format or something like that. That's what I would really appreciate now. So please leave your opinion in the comment section, and I wish you all a great day.